First it was aw, then it was oh, and finally it was oh my god. Let's go. Outlander Season 4, Episode 5, Savages. Hey guys, it's Marsha and welcome to Really Seriously For Real. Yesterday I posted a video about what I thought of Season 4 so far. Though I've been underwhelmed, I still press on because I really felt like ultimately everything would come together, or at least the storyline would open up to something more juicy. Did it? When I tuned into Savages at midnight on the Stars app, I could hardly contain myself. My dad always said, listen to your elders. Listen to their stories. They have amassed years of knowledge and wisdom you can learn from. Watching Claire and Adawehi made me think of my dad's words. Their exchange of culture and language was mesmerizing. She tells Claire her daughter is here, and Claire assumes she means in her heart. Yeah, okay. Sure, Claire. Tantu Cardinal, who plays Adawehi, is a legend in her own right, lending her talent to so many movies and TV appearances over the years. Her eyes are captivating and believable. She was someone I was looking forward to following throughout the season. But we'll come back to that. Jamie was headed into town with Ian so they can try to find people to fill the 10,000 acres they were given by Governor Tryon. And we pause a bit to showcase the awesomeness of the finished Frasier home. Very nice, I must say. And that also helps to establish that quite some time has passed since the events of the last episode. Before saying goodbye to Claire, we see Jamie take one of his mother's candlesticks that Jocasta gave him before their departure from River Run. We see him shove it in his bag without Claire noticing, but I love that she notices later on. It's interesting because Jamie tells Claire he had a dream about Brianna and describes her birthmark. Did the cosmos just send Jamie and Adawehi a message about Brianna? Poor Claire was left off the email string, I guess. Anyway, Jamie needs to get going, but despite his concern for leaving Claire alone, she tells him, have no fear. It's just a few days. What can happen? Famous last words. So Jamie and Ian head to town and Claire delivers a baby for a neighboring German family. I felt the writers and actors did a great job disarming me. They make Claire an honorary grandma to the new baby, and then they name the baby Clara to honor Claire. Oh, they loaded it on thick. The jubilant grandfather Gerhard and uncle come home bearing gifts, which the young mother Petronella was so happy about. They completely made me feel that life was good. So you know something was about to mess things up. And then Rollo just had to start barking. This alerted everyone to our Cherokee friends obtaining water for the horses in the creek just in front of their home. I was like, dang, Rollo, you didn't recognize them? But I suppose not. The jubilant grandfather went all Rambo, and he and his son grabbed their rifles ready to fire. Claire jumps between them all, hoping to dial down the anger, which she does. Everyone calms down, lowers their guns. Tawadi's like, you're lucky you're friends with Adawehi, bear killer's wife. Then Tawadi starts sprinkling something near the water. Oh my gosh. Gerhard starts pointing his gun again. Claire yells, it's just a blessing. Claire heads home and the poor thing is she's just worn out. She just delivered a baby and brokered a truce. The next bit was cool because you get to see a day in the life at the homestead, taking care of the livestock, cooking, cleaning, just running the home. And then that knock on the door. A minister who had the unfortunate task of telling Claire that Petronella and the baby she just helped deliver a week ago has now died due to the measles. Gerhard, however, believes the Cherokee cursed them and possibly blames Claire. The minister tells Claire to find somewhere safe until things blow over. She decides to stay and sleep with a rifle. No Country for Old Men style. I think it was No Country for Old Men. It's like one of the characters at the end of the movie is just sitting there in the chair with the gun. Both her and Rollo are jumping at every noise until finally Gerhard shows up at her door. She has the gun trained, and then he just walks in. Maybe I should have looked this up, but when were indoor locks invented? How is this guy supposed to just waltz in? Okay, and fine. If there aren't any locks, then Claire really should have barricaded the door. He would not be getting in if it were me. No. This guy, he just walks right on in, makes himself comfortable. You want some tea? I thought that scene was so powerful both in his delivery and in Claire's. Watching her drop her guard more and finally relax as he said all the right, seemingly logical things. And his own internal clock just seemed to wind down, like tired from his grief. When he handed the cloth to Claire, though, I knew it was too bulky to be the doll. I just couldn't have imagined it would be Adawehi's scalp. That really got me in the gut because she didn't deserve that. Someone said Adawehi's words to Claire in the previous episode will start to make sense sooner rather than later. And yes, it did. The native retaliation was haunting. Watching their fire arrows tear through the night sky and in Gerhard's home. Watching his wife walk out the burning cabin and both she and Gerhard succumb to an arrow. The camera panning across the group of Cherokees with only the highlight and roar of the fire. It left me breathless. It's weird saying such a scene was well done considering the outcome. There were no winners here, only death. Jamie had his own problems because no one wanted the land he had to offer. Sign me up then, I'll take it. But if it had anything to do with Tryon and his tax collector, they wanted nothing of it. What is Jamie to do? Because he can't pay tax on 10,000 acres by himself. Jamie's about to head home when they have a lucky break. Come on, that was clever. Because the horse's bit breaks. Okay, sorry. Forcing Ian to go to the smithy. Yeah, it only took me 2 pages of commentary to finally get there. I was watching this episode at midnight in bed. My honey was asleep, so I had on my headphones. When they kept showing the quote-unquote man's silhouette and not his face, I was like, who the heck is he? And why is he so special? I never caught the voice. When he finally turned around, I had to pull my tablet closer because I was genuinely shocked. Murtagh? Is that you? Oh my gosh. Very clever to have Jamie march back over there, all angry when he learned he overcharged Ian for the repair. The recognition in Murtagh's eyes when he heard Jamie's voice. And Jamie. Oh my God. If you were looking for a meteor encounter for Jamie, this was it. Look at his eyes here. Sam Heughan dialed into raw emotion. Almost looked like a boy again. I was just crying my eyes out. I could have watched the scene 1,000 times. Can you imagine that? Someone you thought you'd never see again just appears in front of you after years of absence. Well, I guess for Jamie, there was Claire's return and Brianna's on the horizon. Oh man, Jamie. Talk about emotional overload. Watching Murtagh and Jamie catch up on things was mesmerizing. There's some kind of magic with original cast such as Duncan. When he found out Claire was back, even I was smiling. Trying to watch this episode silently next to my sleeping honey was tough. And then the snag. Finding out Murtagh is a regulator, easily recruiting the men that had previously denied Jamie's offer of land. Just like my dad said, listen to your elders, you'll learn something. Obviously, this will cause great conflict because Jamie promised Tryon he'd help regulate the regulators. Added bonus, the candlestick that Jamie took from the cabin and he tried to get the town's silversmith to do something with it, only to find Miss Horny Pants instead of the silversmith husband. I thought the scene was great. I love layers, you know, and this was a perfect little distraction. But anyway, thankfully Murtagh can help Jamie with the candlestick. And another cool moment when Murtagh knew they belonged to Ellen. They need to stop. By the time Jamie got back to Fraser's Ridge, poor Claire was wound so tight and so scared. Jamie could see it in her face immediately. I loved that embrace. Even when they showed it in the trailer, it looked like whatever Claire had gone through, she was so broken. You knew it was the embrace of, I am so sad, thank God you're here. Knowing what happened now made it even more powerful. Next best thing to come from that era, Murtagh whistling the Boogie Boogie Bugle Boy as he walked up on Claire. It's like flashback to season 1, episode 14, road trip. When Claire and Murtagh took their act on the road when they needed to find Jamie. The feels! I wanted to jump in between their hug. Alright, as much as I like to only talk about Murtagh, love him, we need to talk briefly about Roger and Brianna. Poor guy was tracing back her steps trying to confirm what he already knows. She traveled through the stones. Brianna took a page from Doc in Back to the Future Part 2 or 3. The scene plays in both, where Marty receives a letter in the rain from Doc at the exact moment he disappeared, like 100 years later. Brianna chose a more practical 1 year, asking the bed and breakfast patron to send Roger a letter a year after she leaves. What a request. I like how the bed and breakfast owner felt so sorry for Roger that she went ahead and gave him the letter right away. Roger, looking so sad and pitiful on the bench reading the letter, was such a contrast to his oversized beanie hat. I love it. But Brianna confirmed what we already knew, telling Roger she needed to warn her parents of their impending doom. And she really cared for Roger, but don't follow her. But oh yeah, sure. All this being told over video of her arriving at and walking through the stones. I loved this episode. Best so far. I sound like my son every time he sees a Marvel movie. Each one is always better than the previous, no matter what. Well, that was me here. It had everything. Raw passion and emotion, wild imagery, quiet layers, conflict of all kinds that made sense and set in motion. Story that is ripe with intrigue. And Murtagh. It had Murtagh, y'all. I'm happy. Okay, this is what I've been waiting for, and I hope they continue this trend and maintain a balance of story and visual energy. Question of the day. What was most shocking? Murtagh's return or Adawehi's death? I'm still hurt. Comment down below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and then subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you click the bell so you're always notified when I upload a video. Thanks for watching. Until next time.